What I want to talk about today is maximizing the long-term cash value of a whole life insurance policy. We're often asked questions about policy design, how to maximize the guaranteed values, the non-guaranteed values, and how do I make sure I get it right. However, what we've heard a number of times over the years is this: Steve, if I take a policy that has less cash value up front, that means I'm going to have more money long-term than what I would have if I take a policy that has more cash value up front. Does that make sense? Meaning if you take a whole life insurance policy, let's pretend it's a policy with the same company, same product, same out-of-pocket to you. Option A, you've got 90% of your payment up front. So you're paying $100,000, you've got about $90,000 in cash value. Then option B, you pay that same $100,000 into the policy, but you've only got $60,000 in cash value. Then you're told that somehow, with that option that has $60,000 in cash value in the first year, 30 grand less than option A, long term, you'll have more money with that option. Have you ever heard that? This is something that is taught quite a bit when it comes to whole life insurance, and there is some truth to it when we look at life insurance illustrations. What I want to talk about today, though, is looking at illustrations, but then looking at what actually happens, and I'll also give my opinion on it and how I feel about putting people into policies that actually deliver strong cash values where we have proof of it and have strong guarantees versus those that have not, and how commissions have an impact as well. So what we hear sometimes is as follows: a higher base premium will result in more money long term. And where you can see this specifically is sometimes on an illustration looking at the non-guaranteed value side of that illustration. We've got that word proof. When you see the word proof, what I want here, what I would want to see if I'm you, is not an illustration, but proof of an actual policy that has lived the test of time and has it delivered stronger actual cash values long term. Meaning, if I go with the policy that gives me less money up front, I'm going to sacrifice some of my money because an agent tells me you will have more long term if you go with this option. Do you have proof of that? Meaning, if it has happened before, then I'm going to have more confidence in taking the hit up front. However, if I see on the non-guaranteed side of an illustration that I might have more money long-term, and then things occur with the insurance company that perhaps I and even my agent have a hard time explaining and ultimately result in me having less money, now I'm going to be upset because you told me by taking less money up front, I would have more long-term, but it didn't pan out. Let's look at a visual here. So here's a policy with one of the top life insurance companies. We've got a video up here that provides a full breakdown on the company. We go through full illustrations and everything, but we're going to look at a summary here. So here we've got a policy based on the non-guaranteed values, a 35-year-old male. What we talked about, less money up front equals more money long term. We see $100,000 per year going in, and their base premium is $50,000. The first year cash value is $66,000 and change. What is highlighted in yellow represents his break-even point, meaning he has paid in $700,000 and he has more than $700,000. Whereas over here, high upfront cash value, pays in $100,000 and has just about 90% right out of the gates. What's highlighted in yellow is his break-even point. So at first glance, which one is more attractive to you? And keep in mind, these are the exact same products with the exact same insurance company, same individual, same health rating. Everything's the same with the exception of the policy design. We've got a lower base premium, and the base premium takes the biggest bite out of my cash value, especially up front. I take the higher up front, just looking at it based on what I see right here. But then we can look at this, cash value difference. So this is going to tell us how much more or less we have in cash value with this option, high upfront cash value, compared to less upfront. So what do we see as time passes? Well, we see we've got more cash value. We stopped funding after 10 years. And look at this. Just about 40 years down the road, I see the policy where I took less upfront generates more cash value. So firstly, if this did occur, would I be comfortable waiting about 40 years to see a gain? Because now you've got the whole argument, well, what can I do with the money in the meantime? If I can put it somewhere and earn 1%, that's going to put me further ahead. But if I'm just parking money in here and looking at cash value and death benefit, I see long-term, long range, age 85, 90, it's getting around $100,000 in difference, meaning this option gave me more. So this is often where the argument is generated. If you take less money up front, you will potentially have more long-term. A couple of issues I have with it. Never seen it actually occur, for one, when we look at actual policy performance, but then two, look at the exact same product, but with the guarantees. So when we look at the guarantees, what do you notice here? On the non-guaranteed side, what always happened? Well, it went up for a bit, and then went down, and eventually that higher premium policy overtook the lower premium policy. What about on the right? Guaranteed values just continue to go up. So are you more comfortable with something that's guaranteed to produce greater cash value, short-term and long-term? And also, here's the big selling point in my opinion, based on actual results, not illustrations, we've seen deliver strong cash value, or go with something that on an illustration projects greater values, but personally, I've never seen it happen. So when we look at this, reviewing the guaranteed values, what do we see? More money up front and more money long term. When we look at proof of performance, what I've seen is often the strongest actual results follow the guaranteed values. Not to say the actual values we see on the guaranteed side of an illustration, but if I had more money guaranteed from start to finish, if I go with that design, then when I look at reality, I typically see that to be the case. What I see with these options, when I go with less upfront, and this is what really scares me, is that they under-deliver, particularly when that base premium is high. We've seen that happen too many times. And here's where my fear is, being in the business. So if we flip positions, this is always a topic with cash value life insurance. It always has been, and it always will be, the commissions. If you go with a policy that has less in cash value up front, what will happen is a higher commission is paid to the life insurance agent. So think about that for a second. I sell you that policy that we looked at, this option, less up front, I make a higher commission. I tell you, you should have more money long term. Okay, sounds good. The policy under delivers. You do not have more money long term, meaning if you would have went with this option, you were guaranteed to have more money short term and long term, and you did have more long term. But it's too late, the policy's already in force. How would you feel? I should have went with option B. Now, how would you feel if you found out I made more money recommending that one? This is where you might get upset. A lot of people would. I know I might get upset. So let's take a look here at exactly what the commission looks like in this particular case. Here are these same two options. And this is with a product that pays minimum commissions based on the company and the product itself, less upfront with a $50,000 base premium. And these commissions are based on our company's rates, what we would actually receive if we sold these two. So the first year, $18,000 and change compared to this one, higher upfront cash value and higher guaranteed cash value, $5,600 and change. Where you see this column, total compensation, this tallies up all years of commissions that are paid to the agent. So if this individual paid in $100K per year for 10 years, the total compensation paid to the agent in this example would be almost $50,000, $49,000 and change. Whereas over here, it's about half of that. And a quick side note, if this was a more traditional product, the $50,000 base premium, you'll see some companies pay more than $50,000 in the first year alone, which is huge. And that's primarily based on the base premium, how commissions work. We've got other videos that cover that. But my point is, if we flip positions, if I'm the consumer and you sell me this option, and I buy it from you because I believe that I will have more money long term, but then it doesn't pan out. And then I find out this pays a higher commission, and you could have sold me this, but you didn't even show it to me. That's where I could be upset as a consumer. So when I hear this argument, a higher base premium will equal more money long term, I need the proof. That's it. Where's the proof of performance? Because once we have that, we have clear evidence that it can be in the best interest of the consumer. We don't want to put a consumer in a product that might work out, turns out it doesn't work out. That's where issues pop up. Like, no thanks, we're not interested in that. So I hope this made sense. It's a question and topic that comes up quite a bit. We've heard it a number of times over the years, but it is something that if you're looking into whole life insurance and you have heard this or you're speaking with others, I would really dig into it. Remember, it's always okay to ask questions about the policy before you dedicate money there, because it is your money going into the policy. And that's the case if cash value is the goal, or death benefits the goal, or it's a combination of both. So I do hope that this video was helpful. Let us know if it was, and we'll talk to you in the future. Thanks so much. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.